Step 5, you have the brake system check. So the brake system check helps you slow and stop the vehicle when you need to in order to avoid any dangerous effects or any failed brakes, such as any accidents, injuries, or damage. Now, this is important. The vehicle will not stop unless the brake system is in good condition. So the easy, simple steps of the air system check is you have the air brake check, which is the air brake test. So then you have 5 main parts. First main part, once the air pressure builds up to the governor cutoff by 120 to 140 psi by applying light pressure on the foot pedal or just letting that air compressor just build up between 120 to 140 psi's. Once you build that air pressure up, it's 5 main parts, but it's 2 different sections. So the first section consists of those 3 parts: the air leak test, the alarm, and then the button pop out. So that's one section, one part of one phase of the air brake test. So first you got the air leak. Once the air pressure is built between 120 and 140 psi's, first step, shut off the engine. Turn the vehicle off, turn the key in the off position, leave the key in on position. Or if you have a starter button, turn that starter button off and then turn the starter button in the on position. Then 2, release the parking brake by pushing in that yellow knob, pushing in that parking brake. Then 3, fully apply the foot brake by holding your right foot on the brake for 1 minute. You should time it for a minute. Within that minute, you should not lose no more than 3 psi's in 1 minute. Then you want to watch that air pressure gauge to make sure that there are no leaks. There are no more than 3 psi's. That needle doesn't move no more than 3 psi's. Otherwise, that will indicate a leak. That's part 1. Part 2 is the alarm. So meaning after you check, hold your feet on the brake for a minute, it didn't lose no more than 3 psi's. Do you want to check the alarms by fanning and pumping the brakes? The key is already going to be in on position, but when you fan and pump the brakes, you want that warning light to come on between approximately 60 psi's. So a warning buzzer, light, or flag should come on when the air pressure drops approximately 60 psi's. So once that comes on, then part 3 is you want to continue to fan and pump the brakes for the button to pop out, which is the parking or the spring brake. You want that knob to pop out as you continue to fan and pump the brakes. And it's going to come out approximately 40 psi's. If it don't, continue to fan and pump the brakes. It should pop out approximately. So either it's going to just pop out or it's going to seep out. When you're doing this, the goal is for the parking brake to pop out. And that means that it works properly. The whole goal for the air brakes test is to check it. The engine really should be off so that way the air compressor won't build up or keep building up. So when you're doing the air brakes test, you're making sure that the parking brakes come out, because if they don't come out, that means that 1, of course, you don't have any air, but importantly, the parking brake, the vehicle won't stop if you do not have air to stop the vehicle. So that's why this is important. Hey, BT Trainer here. Listen, a couple of updates when it comes to the air brakes test. Previously, I mentioned the steps when you're doing the air brakes test if you're driving a Class B, a straight single vehicle. But when you're driving a combination vehicle, a Class A combination vehicle, such as a tractor trailer, the difference is when you do the air brakes test, when you push in the parking brake, the yellow knob, you also have to push in the trailer brakes, which is the red knob. You have to push in the parking brake and the trailer brakes. Then when you hold your feet on that service brake for 1 minute in a combination vehicle, you shouldn't lose no more than 4 psi's within that minute when you're driving a combination vehicle. Versus Class B, a single vehicle, then you hold it for 1 minute and should not lose no more than 3 psi's. So that's one of the main differences. Also, when you fan down and pump the brakes, approximately 60 psi's, the warning light and buzzer will come on. That's the same. But when you fan and pump the brakes to about 40 psi's approximately, then the parking brake, which is the yellow knob, and the trailer brakes, which is the red knob, should pop out. Now, it's either going to pop out at the same time, or some trucks, the parking brake will pop out first, the yellow knob, then the emergency trailer brakes, the red knob, will pop out. or vice versa, depending on the type of truck or combination vehicle that you are operating. So that is the main difference when it comes to doing the air brakes test in a Class B single vehicle, so such as a truck, a passenger bus, a school bus, a single vehicle that weighs over 26,001 pounds, versus a combination vehicle, Class A, tractor trailer, for example, which is a commercial vehicle weighing over 26,001 pounds, and a trailer that weighs more than 10,001 pounds. So that's the difference between doing the air brakes test in a combination vehicle, Class A, versus doing the air brakes test in a Class B vehicle. Then part 4, which is the second section of it, is the parking brake / emergency brake, which is the parking brake check. Sometimes they call it the tug test. All you're doing is, with the parking brake already on, with that yellow knob or a red trailer knob, when that knob pops out, all you're doing is just checking to see if that parking brake holds, if it works, by putting the transmission in drive and then just tapping the gas once or twice. Then you try to pull the vehicle forward, and when you tap it, the truck shouldn't move because the parking brake is on. That's why they call it the parking brake test. It's the same parking brake knob, it's just different functions of it. So then you have the service brake check. So the service brake is easy. You put the transmission in drive. When the air pressure is built at least 120 psi's, then you put the transmission in drive, pull forward 5 miles an hour, and then you apply the brakes to stop. You want to make sure the vehicle doesn't pull to either side and the brakes stop when it's fully applied. So remember to check also the braking system. Make sure that the braking system is working properly during each shift during your pre-trip. It should be working during your pre-trip and throughout the day as well. Now, those are the 5 simple steps of the pre-trip inspection. Now, granted, it was extensive going through this, but as you do it, as you get on the job training, it's a checklist, a brief checklist, brief run through. The more you do it, the more you can be able to break it down into sections. You can be able to group it together, and you can be able to do this within 10, 15 minutes of the pre-trip. Sometimes 5, depending on if you're using the same vehicle or how you structure your pre-trip inspection. But it shouldn't take you no more than 10 to 15 minutes to do the pre-trip inspection. And if it takes more, use that time so you can be able to be prepared and fully operate that commercial vehicle. Because if anything happens while you're driving that commercial vehicle, it is your responsibility. Hey, BET Trainer here. Listen, if you really had true value out of this video, go ahead and click that like button and share some honest comments about this video, because this is going to help other people as well see the video and get the value information, so that way they can be inspired by what you're doing right now as well. So also, if you want to get the latest updates, go ahead and click the subscribe button, so then you can be able to always be updated on the next instant video that will be put out. So again, go ahead and do that. And this video was sponsored by BET Life Services and CDL for Life.